Who is actually intelligent?
Well, I am intelligent.
Everyone says that about themselves, but is my neighbor intelligent, or is it my plumber? Are they perhaps even more intelligent than I am?
Chances are your plumber isn't as intelligent as you are. In any case, he's not as intelligent as I am.
Can you find a leak, and do you know how to lay pipes?
Of course not. That's what plumbers are for.
Then you are not very intelligent in that area.
But I could learn what plumbers do and then understand how these pipes work.
To you, intelligence is more of a potential, something one could know and do, not something one actually knows. Then someone who knows absolutely nothing would also be intelligent.
No, to be intelligent, you have to know something. Okay, I might not know anything about leaks and tubes, but I'm still intelligent because I understand some math.
So, there are different kinds of intelligence.
And I'm intelligent enough to know that Howard Gardner said that already.
And what exactly did he mean by that?
I can't know everything.
The American psychologist Howard Gardner developed a theory of multiple intelligence.
The idea of multiple intelligences comes out of psychology. It's a theory that was developed to document the fact that human beings have very different kinds of intellectual strengths, and that these strengths are very, very important in how kids learn, and how people represent things in their minds, and then how people use them in order to show what it is that they've understood.
He distinguishes between 8 types of intelligence: linguistic, logical mathematical, musical, spatial, bodily, interpersonal, intrapersonal, and naturalistic.
Oh, that's quite a lot.
Someone can be a musical genius without being particularly gifted linguistically. An intelligent mathematician might struggle with social interaction. Being intelligent in one area doesn't mean you are intelligent in another.
And how does he explain that?
Every field has its own symbols, its own language, and its own approach. Not every problem or situation can be solved with logic or mathematics.
And what about the G factor? According to this theory, someone who is intelligent in one domain is also intelligent in another.
The G factor compares similar areas of intelligence, such as mathematics, logic, and the ability to understand concepts correctly. Howard Gardner, on the other hand, defines intelligence much more broadly. For him, musical understanding, social behavior, and the ability to navigate nature are also forms of intelligence.
That's not quite the same thing.
Another psychologist, Robert Sternberg, also makes a distinction between practical and theoretical intelligence. For him, intelligence is all about understanding and solving a problem. It's about achieving a goal and finding a way to do it. Someone who is intelligent makes the right decisions, whether they are based on practical or theoretical grounds.
Then the IQ test isn't helpful either. But how does he define intelligence then?
This is a difficult question for all intelligent researchers. Most of them see someone's success in life as proof of their intelligence.
But there are people who are successful, even becoming president, yet they aren't considered particularly intelligent.
And the opposite is also true. Just because you are intelligent doesn't mean you will have a successful life. Many important mathematicians and physicists weren't recognized during their lifetimes.
Like who, for example?
Évariste Galois, Georg Cantor, Ludwig Boltzmann, and many others. Their ideas were so innovative that they went unrecognized for a long time.
Success alone is certainly no measure of intelligence. Howard Gardner doesn't help me either.
He is influential, but he also has many critics. In fact, his definition of intelligence remains vague. Some of his critics argue that what he means by intelligence are actually talents that someone can have.
And what is a talent?
Talent is something you've got naturally because it's innate. It's the ability to do something well without thinking. In that sense, talent and intelligence are not the same.
To be honest, I'm still a bit confused about what intelligence actually is.
People have very different ideas about intelligence. It's interesting that modern attempts to define intelligence completely ignore ethical behavior. It seems that being intelligent and doing the morally right thing are unrelated.
Is that intelligent?
Then, intelligence is only a measure of how well a goal is achieved. It describes a person's behavior toward themselves. It becomes a characteristic of a person. This may be the case if intelligence is primarily related to mathematical and logical thinking. Social intelligence, or the ability to cooperate well with others, is not considered.
Every man for himself.
Intelligence is understood today to include whatever selfish behavior it may involve. When someone donates their money to a good cause, it's seen as altruistic, but not intelligent. On the other hand, if someone increases their own profit, they might be considered intelligent.
But is making more money always intelligent?
When you say someone is intelligent, it's always in relation to something. How well someone does something specific. Intelligence has an object.
Above all, intelligence is demonstrated through action. People, not objects, are intelligent.
But only in relation to something. Let's consider who we think of as intelligent.
A few women come to mind.
If you ask these questions to very different people, you will get very different answers each time. For example, people in the same profession as oneself will be considered the most intelligent. Physicists will primarily name other physicists as the most intelligent. For mathematicians, it's other mathematicians. Artists will name other artists. For economists, it's business people who have made it big, and so on.
I see. There's no consensus.
People tend to think someone is intelligent if they do something they understand. That makes perfect sense, because if you can understand something, you can judge it better.
But that hasn't brought us any closer to a definition of intelligence.
Well, intelligence is linked to an activity. It's transitive. If you want to know if someone is smart, you've got to see what they have done. Intelligence is therefore not a characteristic of a person, but of an action.
So your plumber might actually be pretty intelligent too.
At least when it comes to pipes and leaks.
If anyone can be intelligent depending on what they do, then artificial intelligence can also be intelligent.
But only if AI is a person with consciousness. An intelligent being must also know what they are doing. Someone who simply does what they have been told is not intelligent.
There's a lot of discussion about that right now.
Computer experts initially used the term more for marketing purposes. It wasn't about a concept or a theory. For example, Turing wrote the paper Computing Machinery and Intelligence in 1950, but the term only appears once in the paper.
One must experiment with teaching one such machine and see how well it learns. The experimenter, by the exercise of intelligence, should be able to speed it up.
But he doesn't attribute intelligence to the machine, but to the programmer.
The idea that machines could also be intelligent was first discussed at Dartmouth conference. John McCarthy coined the term artificial intelligence in the hope that this catchy phrase would attract more funding. It was different from the usual grant proposals, which had mathematical titles. Most people at the conference would have preferred that. The title Complex Information Processing was under consideration. But artificial intelligence stuck precisely because it was not a mathematical title, and it became the name for the entire technology.
It's actually pretty surprising, especially when you think about how we don't really have a clear understanding of what intelligence actually is.
Artificial intelligence is a pretty broad term for different areas of computer science, like complex calculations, learning ability, pattern recognition, and language understanding. A vague term was found for a vast field.
What do philosophers actually say about intelligence?
In philosophy, intelligence isn't a central concept, but it's a text by Nietzsche from the time before the whole hype surrounding intelligence began.
There are probably many kinds of intelligence, but each has its own laws, which make it impossible for it to conceive of any other laws. Because we therefore cannot have any empirical knowledge about the different intelligences, every path to insight into the origin of intelligence is also closed.
According to Nietzsche, each form of intelligence functions in a state of autonomy, existing within its own unique self-contained reality.
The general phenomenon of intelligence is unknown to us. We only have the special case and cannot generalize. On the other hand, there must be an understanding of the world from the perspective of every kind of intelligence. But I believe it is only the completed adaptation of the laws of the individual kind of intelligence. It carries itself out everywhere. Every intelligence believes in itself.
All right, that explains why everyone's got a different idea of what intelligence is.
Strictly speaking, it's not a scientific term. It's not clearly defined. You don't have to worry about overlap or contradiction, and you can apply it to anything.
If you have any intelligent thoughts on this, please share them in the comments. Subscribe so you don't miss the next video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.